I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about race earlier in my life, just because I spent a lot of my time in Northern California and then in Vermont. And when I wasn't in this country, in Germany, I spent time in Mexico, which felt somehow a little bit different, and I don't know why. But, it's something that, even in some of the comments that we've seen on some of our blogs and podcasts is like, what's the big deal? And I don't think it is a big deal. And I don't even feel like I consciously notice. I don't think like when I go to your family and stuff, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm the only white guy here. That's not crossing my mind, but somehow I still feel it without needing to think about it. And if I go back and someone like says, hey, recall, what was it like being the only white person there? I'd be like, I don't know if I can explain it exactly. And I don't know that I had any specific feelings about it that I can name, but there was somehow an awareness. Does that resonate with you at all?
There is an awareness, because I also feel like, I guess for like, and we can talk about this, like for you as a white person, I feel like whiteness is judged by itself. But for me, I always feel like everywhere I go, I have this thing on my shoulders, like I'm representing my people, and my people don't exist in Sonoma County, so kind of like, and I don't even know like what people I'm really talking about, because I am Kenyan. I'm new to America, but there's like something like, I guess the people that I want to talk is about like the people who are like identified, like skin color black, like that's what I'm talking about. And you do feel that when you go to a place and you're the only one. Like, am I acting the right way? Am I like, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But in like intimate places, like when I'm with your family, I hardly notice.
Right. Because at that point you're an individual, and what you just said, like as like I'm representing a whole people. Like I've seen, like my kids who played baseball, my daughters who played baseball, went out to play a ball game that were always the only girl. So therefore, when they showed up, they were like, if I make a mistake, it's like every girl's making a mistake. If I don't show up and have my A game, then it's like, this is why girls shouldn't play. If you show up, I think as a black person, my guess, if I'm relating this properly, is a sense of, is that other people who look like me will be judged based on what I do.
Yes. And also like the other people, I feel like other people also notice. You went out on a walk the other day, and when we go out on a walk together, like our community, like our neighbors are so friendly. They like all like wave because they are noticing me. And like at this point, I don't know if it's now, because I feel like the situation in our country is like so intense with the protest and COVID and like, which I don't want to go into right now, but I think there's more consciousness. I think
I would say that some of the fact that you get when we're walking together, everybody waves. When I walk by myself, a couple times. So the fact that there's a lot of hyper awareness right now about race in our country, and we live in a very liberal place with no other black people. If you want to say Black Lives Matter and you don't actually ever interact with black people, you see someone, you want to be like, hey, I'm going to wave, because I want to see you. I want to acknowledge that your life matters. And that's the only way I know how to do it in this moment as I'm driving by, or any other time. I mean, at the farmer's market in Sebastopol, there was, all of the booths, there was one other African American.
Yeah. And so I feel like I notice like there is more, like LA, like, yeah, like you're in a supermarket and like black people do the black nod, but like you don't feel like the white people are like that paying as much attention as I feel like they're paying so much attention in Sonoma County.
Yeah.
Which I was living in Kenya, in a country full of like 90% black,
I think
more than that.
More than that.
And like no one really cares.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's kind of like interesting to just kind of move from that to this.
Right.
And I can't even like name, like, I can't name it. It's also kind of like, I can't really name the differences, except like, okay, so it's what, more than 90% black, and here it's like maybe the same, 95% not even, 98% white.
Could be. Well, white and Hispanic anyways.
White and Hispanic. So it's, apart from like naming it at the top, at like the base of like, it's very white, and Sonoma County is very white and Kenya was very black. I can't really, and like only the kind of like the race difference, there's like that emotional thing, I can't quite like explain it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this year we're going to be in Sonoma County, which I'm calling white rural America.
It is. It's white rural America.
Yeah, so I will keep you posted about how I'm liking Sonoma County. So far, so good. I like the food. Oh, the wine is amazing.
We are in wine country. And we're in wine and food country. I mean,
Yeah.
this is probably, I would say Sonoma County, as far as food quality, is one of the top places in the world.
Yeah, I'm eating like really good food, drinking really good wine, and your family is amazing because every time we go, like they have wine and like cheeses and stuff. So
And it's all so much locally sourced
Yeah.
foods and everything. It's pretty special.
So I'm really enjoying myself. Yeah, saying that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. But, kind of going back, I think that one of the things, even in the way that you brought this up, was, when I went to Kenya, I was in your world, right? And then you coming here and you're in my world in some ways. And I think there's almost this natural assumption that somehow we are more comfortable or it's like maybe not even more comfortable, maybe either more comfortable or it's better, or there's an advantage. I think that's the word. There's an advantage of being in a place where you are the majority. And I think that just comes up, and maybe it's just the way I'm thinking about it. But when I think, for me, going to a place where I'm not the majority is actually, while it carries its own challenges, it's also that when something is so new and different for me, it actually means that there's a lot of growth for me. And so going to a place like Sonoma County, yeah, it's comfortable in a lot of ways. For me, mostly probably because I know a lot of people here. But when there is a lack of diversity, I think one of the things is that we think of diversity as, I want more diversity because that somehow it's better for the minorities. But I feel like when you're in the majority, if you don't get to know the story of other people, then you actually live in a bubble of ignorance in some ways. And I just don't think ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, when you move away from your comfort zone, you are asked to stretch more of yourself and of who you are. So
yeah, so in some ways, like I was so grateful to have that time in Kenya, because it was so fresh and so new, and I had to learn something new about myself and stretch myself, like you said, in a new way. And being here, in some ways, I don't know if I have that same, I don't know if I have that in the same way.
Interesting.
And I'm wondering, how does that resonate with you now that you're in a place where you really don't know hardly any people and you are very much a minority?
I think it does a lot, because I feel like first, everything is, when things are new, there's that excitement about things being new.
Yeah.
And also like I'm learning like very like new things. I think one of the things like I'm wondering, I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but I'm like, I'm in wine country. I should become a wine connoisseur, so learn about more like wine more. So I feel like there's that, aspect of like, I didn't grow up, Kenya has no wine, but now I'm in wine country. I should know like more about wine. I could go wine tasting, which is something like I would, where I'm from, like that's not something that we have, so I'm excited for that.
So we'll have to do a wine tasting podcast after we've done our first wine tasting, and we'll bring some of the wines back that we like and talk about wines, and you can be the Kenya wine connoisseur.
Oh my God, I like that title.
Yeah. You don't just get it though. You actually have to earn that one.
I do have to earn it. And so for this year, maybe who knows, I'm not committing to that, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. And the nice thing is that we actually have a bunch of bottles we've had a lot of wine since we've been here. So, we'll be able to speak more and more authoritatively on the subject as things move on.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us on this week's episode of It's Not All Black and White.
My name is Sarah. I'm Black.
I'm Matthew. I'm white. This is the Interracial Couple Podcast. And for all of you who have not yet found us on Facebook, we have both a page for our podcast and we also have a group for interracial couples to connect, to share stories, to share the triumphs and the wins, and also the challenges and the difficulties being, and I'm sure in any relationship really, but also in an interracial relationship. We have our own unique
we have our own unique challenges and our own unique beauty in it. So anyway, if you're in an interracial relationship, go and find us on Facebook.
Yeah, and we'll see you there. In the meantime, have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening.